Alrighty, let's go ahead and look at example number 1. So we have x minus 18 over x is equal to 3. So whenever I'm solving rational equations, I only want one rational expression on the left and one rational expression on the right. So the first thing I'm going to do is just deal with this part and try and combine those. So x minus 18 over x, before I subtract them, I have to find my least common denominator. Here it is x. So I'm going to multiply this guy by x over x. And so I get x squared minus 18 all over x. And now that's equal to 3. Before I cancel anything out, I'm like, hey, here's my restriction. X cannot equal 0. All right, at this point, you have two different options. So I'm going to show both options in this video. So let me do this. So option number 1 is you can just go ahead and cross multiply. So this is the cross multiply method. So I'm going to multiply. This is really 3 over 1. I'm going to cross multiply here. I have x squared minus 18 is equal to 3x. Move everything to one side. X squared minus 3x minus 18 is equal to 0. And then we can solve that way. Option number 2 is finding a least common denominator for all parties involved. So from this one, I had x squared minus 18 over x is equal to 3. I can say, hey, the least common denominator between both of these, x and 1, is x. So I'm going to multiply each side. I'm going to multiply the right side by x because it's missing that least common denominator. So here I have x squared minus 18 all over x is now equal to 3x over x. And y'all go ahead and watch what happens here. When I cross multiply at this point, I'm just going to do the first step. I'm going to multiply these two together. When I multiply that left side, I'm technically multiplying each side by x. So these two cancel over here. And then this guy gets multiplied by x. And before I cross multiply my other way, I'm like, oh, whoa, cool. I'm like, hey, I have an x on top and an x on bottom. These guys are going to cancel. So I want you guys to look what just happened. I just canceled both denominators. So if you understand what is happening, I'm okay with you saying, oh, because if I cross multiply one way, my denominator with my new cross multiplied x over here is going to cancel. Essentially what we're doing, so let me rewrite this really quick, is equal to 3x over x. Essentially what I'm doing is like, oh, my denominators are going to cancel. And they're just going to go away. So as long as you understand why it happens, I'm okay with you canceling out these denominators here. And then at this point, if I were to subtract 3x from both sides, I get x squared minus 3x minus 18 is equal to 0. And we're back at the same spot. So I don't care which method you use. It does not matter to me as long as you are setting your restrictions in both methods and you understand why your method works. Totally fine. So really quickly, let's go ahead and factor these guys. This will be an x minus 6. This will be an x plus 3 equal to 0. Setting both these parentheses equal to 0, I get x is equal to 6 and negative 3. And before I box it, oh, you guys can't see. Before I box it, I'm like, hey, I want to make sure that none of my solutions are extraneous. So I go back to my original restrictions. It says x cannot equal 0. I'm looking down here. Oh, I don't have a 0. So both of these are valid solutions. Box your answer and you are done.